I'm that girl who knows the difference between conscious mind conversations and channeling high dimensional beings. And so we know that we can assume when people are using their egos and their conscious minds, they kind of get it real simple and as much as they can cope and understand. And it's tangible, right? So they may be a little bit out there knowing and sensing that there is something coming and that there are shifts of some various description, but it's not until we fully surrender in and channel our high dimensional selves that we get the full information, right? It's quite astounding. And so since I saw you last, did two sessions with clients. One of them, very first client that I had, and boy, what a journey. And it's fantastic, right? So the last 2 years, fully been activated into having profound information through meditation and other various sort of going within techniques to be able to get the same information that we're getting in sessions, but they're alone and they don't really know how to explain it. So it seems really scary and kind of quite overwhelming, but still, because you are diligent and you keep focusing on this and you still get the same information, you're trying to ask for more clarifying information, right? Sometimes it can be really hard when you are just sensing what's coming versus being able to verbally express to yourself through your subconscious what is actually happening. So we've all chosen our interesting paths to awaken. And I just feel so, I don't know, sort of impressed, but also scared and very compassionate for those people who are able to channel for themselves to be able to get this really advanced information. It's not a coincidence who you've been in other lifetimes. And it was very interesting because each time we sort of got to take that client to different aspects of their soul's journey, hello Earth, at all new stages and all different stages. And it was mostly dead end stages. And so very significant times. And so for this soul to be physically here now, no coincidence, right? Epic, very, very, very epic. And so then I had another session with a fantastic person. They all are fantastic, right? Because they're wanting to do their inner work. They are wanting to push aside their ego for just a bit to be able to have sessions with me and any other practitioner to be able to actually get the higher advanced information from our collectives. Now, they know what's coming and they know what we're supposed to be doing. So I know lots of people get really upset when we suggest to them, why don't you channel your own information instead of parroting other people's information? Are you getting this information from yourself? Are you channeling this information yourself? Because we know what our comfortable conscious mind belief system is, right? We understand what we believe and what we're comfortable to know. And this is why these sessions are very profound, because when you're channeling something, very big concepts, very important things to come, you go through this range of emotions. Did I make it up? Why would you make it up? You know what your capability is. Why would you suddenly decide to make up something like this in a session? Oh, those just thoughts just popped into my head. Yeah, and it's interesting. Many people do need to take quite a few sessions and listen to quite a few of their sessions to really hear what the subconscious is saying. And I know that when the subconscious is giving us senses to translate the information, the subconscious could say, in reference to this planet's soul essence, but when it says it, it could just say this planet, right? Because you're getting these senses. They try to dumb themselves down to mansplain it to us so we can get the concepts, right? So when you're hearing that this planet is going to be New Earth, through the subconscious, as a practitioner, I ask, can you explain that to me, please? And they have to explain it more. And then they realize that there is a difference between the planet and the soul's planet. And we also know that the soul of this planet is reincarnating into a whole brand new planet. And we call that New Earth, and we understand that as being in the fifth dimension. Now, we're using our egos to be able to understand and mansplain the information we get from sessions. So it's really good to have your own sessions to really feel the difference. My client today was fantastic. One of her questions was, am I like fully brainwashed? And it's all of this new Earth 5D being a different planet bullshit. Love that question. I love asking that question too, actually, because the subconscious, the entire time, the subconscious was very soft and spoken and sweet and caring and nice and really articulate and really great in explaining a whole lot of stuff that we were exploring, which is really interesting. And then when I asked that question, we got very firm answers. New Earth is a new planet and you are going there. And it was very firm. And it was like, well, that's unmistakable. And so while the client was channeling that, not only did they feel the shift of I'm telling you for the last freaking time, listen to me. This is your subconscious speaking through you now. The tone was, and I can feel, usually when I can feel these sort of shifts in energy, when I'm in my own sessions, sometimes it feels like they're screaming. And then when we listen to the sessions, it just sounds like a slight tone of raising of the voice. But my experience was, God, they were just yelling that out. They were so, listen, this is not mucking around. This is serious. This is the truth. Prepare yourself emotionally, physically. Anyway, I love this work. It is such a joy to do it, but it always cracks me up. And, we shouldn't just be assuming anything. And when we sort of just assume something, we kind of we miss this opportunity to expand upon it. And these concepts are so vast that, even if you just are cool with, okay, so it's a new planet, show me, make me feel it, understand the significance of why not here then. Because we know the information that Dolores was saying in her 2008 book was, it's here, it's on this planet. Now, when we ask in sessions about that, they say, well, again, translation, the new Earth, the Gaia's soul, you can feel Gaia's soul on the new Earth. And so you could translate it as saying, yes, you're on that planet, but it gets, it's kind of like they don't speak English, but they're trying to impress upon us the emotions and the information. And this is why it's super important to know how these sessions work, because if you're listening to other people's sessions and the practitioner is not expanding upon the questions and the concepts, you can mishear things and they can misrepresent things very easily. So test this out. Ask your subconscious. Interns are free. And so it's really important time now to start channeling our own information, right? Find out your origin of your soul, what your soul's journey has been about, what your soul's purpose is about. And I know so many of you are profound leaders. You have been supporting and activating and helping so many other planets. You're super old souls, some of you, super old souls. You don't look like a day over 1 billion, okay? But, you're very advanced souls and you're here for a really significant reason. And so when you've got these skill sets to move things with energy, to manipulate things and move things around and heal profoundly and grab and hold on to huge amounts of really high frequency vibrations, but you feel like there is something missing for you to be able to do that and you can't understand it. So therefore you feel really confused and you wonder, why am I blocked? What's wrong with me? Why am I blocked? Why am I blocked? And so we ask in sessions and the subconscious says, you're not blocked. How do you even think that about yourself? That's such a limited perspective. You're not blocked, but you can't go any higher. You're in a 3D planet. You're around density. And what is density really? Density is what you could say is a whole bunch of egos that are very low vibrational. And so we're just surrounded in that density, right? We're surrounded in low vibrational frequencies of mindsets and physical bodies. So when you start wanting to unpack, well, why is this planet so dense? Why can't we shift into a fifth dimension here? Asking all those questions, be really logical about this and really expand, use a common sense to really unpack all of the information for you to understand being here now to wherever you go in the shift and beyond, right? Super, super, super significant. And I can guarantee you, the more that you surrender into these sessions, the more your practitioners will want to be your best friends to be able to explore this journey as well, because they're learning too. Even Dolores Cannon knew that she was being softly breadcrumbed concepts of information, because the collectives already knew back then that humanity was not ready to evolve, unfortunately. You know what? The fun thing is, sort of gets a bit annoying when you think about it. But if everyone chose to embrace and love themselves and love others all simultaneously, we would shift. Because we'd raise our frequency vibrations, because we weren't worried about bulls or the price of gas or wars or celebrities or something. When we are focusing on some negative density, we're holding back humanity. Okay, so they really want us to be conscious of our unconscious thoughts and processes that go on behind the scenes. A lot of you have a programming of self-destruction, self-sabotage. You're constantly looking for the world to get you. You're constantly looking for insults, for personal attacks, for people to hurt you, to people to distrust you, disrespect you, to unlove you, and you're unconsciously, you're seeking this out because you can't understand why you're feeling so disconnected here. You feel within you, without being like big ego, you know you're a big deal, but you can't put your finger on what. And so some of you have driven yourselves to be big deals in your industries, or in your communities, or in your school committees, or whatever, because you're trying to find how you are that big deal. And yet every time you get and achieve those milestones, it doesn't fulfill you. And so you're constantly searching to figure out how and where to be your big leadership roles, because you all know that you're very capable, more than you are currently, and it's very frustrating. So there was just another thing that I wanted to share with you. So I'm just going to pause while I think about this. Hang on. Okay, so the teams are wanting us to be consciously aware of our unconscious thoughts that we are seeking or searching or telling ourselves about ourselves. And they're really wanting us to be consciously aware of what where our thoughts are going. And if there is any parts that we're not empowering ourselves with, really look into it, because it seems like some of you still don't feel like you're worthy to be here. Some of you don't feel like you are being enough. And, this is not what they're wanting you to be. So I know that sometimes it seems like they're yelling at some of us to step up and actually, be of service and drop your ego. And then on the other hand, they're sort of saying to those small ego people that don't feel like they're worthy enough and super blocked somehow because they just don't feel like themselves, they're also sort of saying to you, embrace who you are, know thyself, and honor yourself, and stop pushing yourself so hard because you constantly are thinking there's something wrong with you. And so remember where we're at, remember what density we're working through. So they're really wanting us to catch ourselves if there is negative self-talk. And also this other thing where negative, they want us to consciously be aware of our negative self-talk or limited, if we're just talking shit about ourselves or shit about others, right? Stop it, empower ourselves to love and respect. Everything's an opportunity for growth, right? And they want us to work at this. If this is something that you realize, shoot, I'm actually doing this a lot. I'm telling myself I'm a shit cook, I'm a shit parent, I'm a shit whatever. If we still feel like we're not good, then we're just going to be focusing on feeling crap that we're not good. And actually be honest with yourself and see what you're expecting from yourself and actually what you're expecting from others. Right. So they're wanting us to really focus on that. So then if it's the new, and I feel like I did this probably like 2 years ago. And once I caught myself having really nasty self-talk, oh my gosh, it was actually quite a routine mission to actually like remember, I'm not doing that anymore. Stop that. This is not good. This is not good. So I would be really conscious of where my mind would go. And when you're in these sort of bad routines of self-trash talking, it is quite the effort to get out of that. And as soon as that routine, and as soon as you stop using all that energy to sort of, belittle yourself, then you've actually got that capability of, empowering yourself, truly loving yourself so much more. And also, it seems like there is this thing where when you're not really used to speaking your truth, we use jokes to kind of like subtly speak our truth, but like say it in a way that it could kind of be just dismissed as, I'm not fully owning it. It's a joke if you get caught out, right? And so this is why if we can't fully be confident in what we're saying and speaking, we will say it as a joke or a subtle joke or something. So when we try to speak our truth like that, when other people say jokes about us or something, because we know that we can use jokes as a form of expressing what we really think and feel, but have kind of like the buffer of, it's a joke, it's only joking, blah, 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 blah. So when other people are using jokes as a genuine joke, they're not using jokes as any other, I'm going to tell you, you look fat in those pants, or I'm going to make a joke about whales in the house or something. Like if someone's actually saying a genuine joke that was not hurtful at all and was supposed to make you laugh, but you're a sort of person that uses jokes as a defense mechanism to speak your truth, but have like a buffer of not being responsible for the information, why you're so sensitive, it was just a joke. This is how we are sort of still not learning how to be our truthful selves to ourselves and to trust others' intentions and demeanors. And so if you're talking a lot of bad shit about yourself and someone makes a joke, you're going to think, oh, that was definitely not a joke. They definitely think I look like a whale in those pants. So we sort of assume that people who can't speak the truth, if you can't speak your own truth, you kind of have these ways to kind of do it softly without getting caught. And so if you are one of those jokesters, you're going to be thinking and assuming everyone that tells you a joke is really a hidden message, and they're telling you what they really honestly think about you, but guys, as a joke. And so again, look at what we're talking about ourselves and what we're taking from other people's stuff. And if people think you look like a whale in jeans, forget about what they think. That's them. That's their judgment. That's them holding the low vibration. You do you feel fantastic in your skin, in your jeans, whatever. And no one should be enforcing or putting their own judgment onto you to feel low about yourself, right? Like that's part of your self-empowerment. And it's almost like when you sort of are trying to build up your confidence and build up your faith and trust of self, the universe will give you some little testers to try and give you a few little troll experiences just to see how you're going to react. Are you going to listen to their criticism and then totally destroy yourself emotionally and be like, oh yeah, they're totally right? Or are you going to be like, okay, thanks universe. I hear what they said. Cute that they think that. They do them. I believe in myself. I know it's not true. And just shake it off. So it's very interesting, right? So much fun to explore these things. And so there was another thing about how we don't love ourselves. And this is a really weird example, but I'm going to be curious to see who else sees this, right? So we're shopping for the family, but we know that certain people don't like certain things that they eat. It may be our favorite, right? But we know that some people in the household won't eat it. So do you sacrifice your enjoyment and your fun foods, knowing that it's not going to be for everyone? What is that going? Is there anyone, have you ever experienced that where, you're in a relationship, it's the kids or whatever, your partner, and they do not love your triple or something, something, something. And so you stop buying it, even though it's one of your favorites, because you don't want to displease them. And, it's really interesting how we sort of mold ourselves to please other people for their tastes. And it may not even just be for food, it may be something else, right? TV watching, for example. God forbid anyone who's a gamer or married to a gamer or something like, but if you're not a gamer yourself and they are, for example, that can be challenging, right? But we may want to just, do their hobbies and enjoy their things themselves. We don't have to copy for copy for copy for like, right? We should be able to remember what really gives us joy and not feel like we've got to sacrifice our own interests and free time to be able to do things with them. Definitely can create some new things that you enjoy together. But this is how we kind of start losing ourselves, isn't it? Is when we start compromising the things that we really like to sort of please others. And it reminds me of this time where I always wanted to buy this drink, and my partner was like, oh, I don't really like this sort of drink. And so I was like, okay, cool, we'll buy something that he likes, right? And this is years ago. Oh, actually, maybe no, it was years ago. Anyway, so I ended up buying a drink that I really wanted, and he sort of had already said, oh, I don't really like it. And so I thought, oh, cool, I'm going to buy this for me, a little treat, and I'm going to have it in the fridge. It wasn't alcoholic or anything like that. And then I'd go and grab some of my cold drink, and it was gone. And I noticed that for someone who said he didn't like it, he was starting to drink my treat drinks. And I just was like, I felt a little bit because I was a jerk back then, so we can all embrace that growth. It was annoying to me because I didn't buy it for so many years because he never liked it. And then when I did buy it to be able to treat myself, he started loving it. And so it was kind of like I actually had to get over that. I think it was resentment because I never bought it for him. I never brought it into the house because I knew he didn't like it. And then I finally tried to celebrate myself and treat myself to things that I like. And then what do you know? He suddenly decided that he liked it. And so, super purposeful for me to learn and grow from all of that sort of stuff. But it was just really interesting that I was reminded about this today. How we try to please others, but we sort of forget about ourselves. It's kind of like that broken egg scenario. I don't know where that's come from, but when you're cooking a meal of fried eggs or poached eggs or something, and the person that cooks it will give themselves the shitty, smallest one that's broken and looks like it's already been recycled through someone else's experience of eating it. But so are we still serving ourselves the smallest portions that look shit just to please everyone else? Or are we actually starting to honor and love ourselves? So, there's so much to be said about self-love. And it's not just a belief of, we're not awful, murdering, horrible people. I mean, the thing is, my friends, if you are a murderer, check out life contracts. You may be able to forgive yourselves and realize, oh, this was karma because you killed me 17 times. This was my one time I got you. A small joke. But, the thing is that we can't judge. We have to, check out life contracts first, and life lessons and karma and all that sort of stuff. And then even if it's not part of the life service and contract that you had with each other, opportunities for growth. So this is when we can add density into our mindsets, our unconscious mindsets. Now, I know that we call our main guide, our next higher version of self, our subconscious. And I know that that can be confusing because a lot of other people want to call the subconscious something else, which is our unconscious mind of thinking potentially. But my Mr. Subconscious says, oh, he's very consciously aware of his thinking. So, and he's definitely, while he's not fingers, because he's not in the 3D, and that what they're sort of talking about, he's kind of like the arm that's watching all the fingers. But if we really wanted to, just talk about what it looks like to be multidimensional beings that are all connected into each other, but all having independent experiences at the same time, explorer in sessions. They are really good at sharing the most appropriate analogies for you to understand it. Because remember, when you hear your own sessions, you know it's just a few words, but you remember deeply the senses and the other feelings that go with it. And remember that, English is such a, especially my English, is such a limited range of expressions. So this is why these sessions are so profound. So it is so confusing right now as we see so many people trusting ego-based information when it's so ridiculously easy to have your own sessions and to channel the higher dimensional beings who are here. The reason why we were gifted this direct connection, this direct channel to them, was for a very significant reason. And if we're not having the right agenda or intentions, we're not going to get, the things we may feel like we deserve. We have to do so much inner work to be ready to hear about the concepts of this shift. And, you could ask your subconscious, were you going after this shift, or, a whole range of questions. But you need to be able to also tell your practitioner, if I can't get this information that I'm seeking about the new earth, I want you to ask my subconscious, why not? What is blocking me? What do I have to do to be able to get to this information? Because you deserve this information. So really talk to your practitioner and say, I want to make sure I can figure out everything that I still need to do on my inner work list to be able to get the information. I feel like I'm ready. I'm not in any fear, we say. But then the subconscious knows when you get information about massive exit points and massive situations coming, we start feeling really responsible for that, as if somehow we can change it. And so, really get your practitioner to really get your subconscious to spell out why it doesn't think you should be getting this information. And usually just hearing that information alone of why you can't get it, then that helps you have a bigger perspective. And then I find the subconscious will change its mind and actually share more information during the full session. So you can heal actively your clients throughout. We can't heal anything, but apart from ourselves. But the more we negotiate with the subconscious to work as agencies for our clients, to be able to say, well, I'm subconscious, you said that they're not ready for it. Can you help me understand why they're not ready for it? What do they have to get ready for? What do they have to do? What are they missing? Really work with the subconscious. Don't just take, no, they're not going to get this information today as a final. But Dolores, if you have read her books, she was Mrs. Little Cheeky sometime, and she would keep baiting and challenging and pushing the limits constantly to figure out the maximum she could get. And she really pushed, and sometimes the clients would be popped awake instantly because they weren't having it with her. But, push the boundaries of these sessions and limits, but be respectful of your client and be respectful of the subconsciouses, because ultimately we're trying to find the sticking points for the clients to be emotionally and physically ready for the things to come. Right. So, these sessions are very challenging, especially when you're demanding big concepts that your clients and maybe yourself are not even ready to comprehend and then feel into. It's such a huge responsibility to listen to these sessions and to trust these sessions and accept these sessions, knowing we're going to be very challenged and we're going to have to apply the information and the bigger perspectives of everything to not lose our own minds. So yeah, fun times. And so this is why we can understand why lots of people don't want to believe the shift is anything more than just a mindset. That's the most their minds can cope with. That's all that they can trust and have faith with humanity, that we can just have bigger concepts. And that's fine. They're sinking stepping stones, however, when we ask the subconscious about certain individuals who are still saying that this shift to 5D is just a state of mind, you don't go anywhere, and it's just, you sort of feel a little bit fancy or something, right? So The fantastic thing is you don't have to believe me. You can go and believe your own subconscious when you're channeling your own information. And, that is fantastic. It's undeniable, these sessions, and I keep telling you that, but and those who have had sessions know what I'm talking about. That's why I respect this work so much and this information so much, because we don't have a death wish. None of my clients are suicidal. All of my clients have had to process and get to the point of acceptance that their lives that they thought that they were promised to be able to have full lives and to have retirement and to be grandparents and blah, 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 that was taken away from them as soon as they heard this information. And they realized that the shift is going to be in their lifetime, and it's going to be soon. You mourn and grieve for what you assumed you were going to have. It's all very purposeful. This is why they want us desperately to know thyself, to remember this is a mission. We're doing roles here. We're being of service. We're being of duty here. So please be consciously aware of your unconscious mind in the background that is filtering through and judging certain things. So anyway, my friends, lots of love to you. I hope you're having wonderful days, and wherever you are in this world, may you feel my love and encouragement to be fantastic and just keep being you.